bizarre. One of the world's most celebrated and esteemed auto executives is arrested with no prior signs to the world that any potential misconduct had been afoot. He is thrown in jail for 130 days and at first denied access to lawyers and family in a justice system that in many ways is antithetical to Western norms. Then, after pledging to clear his name in court, the famed executive packs himself into a trunk and is smuggled out of the country by a team of operatives led by a former Green Beret. He then resumes his life in Lebanon as an international fugitive. Even today, we find the entire odyssey almost impossible to believe. There is a misleadingly simple narrative in the Ghosn story, centered on good guys, bad guys, individual greed, and a made-for-Hollywood getaway. Our approach, and a primary motivation to take on a book, was to offer an account that chronicles a more complex tale with more nuanced characters, not to mention ramifications that will continue for years. At stake in the alliance and its future are hundreds of thousands of jobs on 5 continents, from car dealers in India to factory workers in Tennessee to design engineers in the Paris suburbs, plus thousands more at suppliers and business partners around the world. Beyond explaining the extraordinary and fast-changing maneuverings, we also wanted to place the events in a broader cultural, political, and historical perspective, and to try to answer the many questions that these events have raised. Is Japan's judicial system unjust? Was Ghosn a victim of that system, or a schemer who ran afoul of the law in virtue of his own avarice and ego? Can big companies with their own national identities truly work together? Is nationalism supplanting globalism? How can the auto industry adapt to an onslaught of change? These are just some of the threads that we have tried to pull together. It was U.S. author and literary agent John Buttman who initially gave us the idea to become partners, and then provided steady encouragement to cajole 2 journalists into writing something longer than 1,000 words, something that would stand the test of time rather than just recount a day's or a week's events. John saw that the Ghosn story was one that went beyond the sensational headlines. He saw something that would captivate people beyond the narrow universes of the auto industry and corporate Japan. And he saw in our pairing that putting together an auto geek and a policy wonk could yield something neither of us could do on our own, and we are grateful for all of that. Sadly, John passed away suddenly before he could see the finished product, but his spirit and his inspiration can be heard in our chapters. Most of all, we want Collision Course to be a compelling listen. What we uncovered in our reporting was in turns enlightening, surprising, amusing, and disturbing. We hope the book inspires many conversations among its listeners, not just about Carlos Ghosn and his legacy, but about the ideals of justice, the future of the auto industry, and the role of government in international business. Hans Greimel and William Sposato, Tokyo, Japan, April 2021. 1. Ghosn Shock. As Nissan's corporate jet began its descent into Tokyo, Carlos Ghosn buckled up, brought his comfy bucket seat out of its recline, and maybe stretched his arms and legs as he peered out the oval window at the metropolis sprawling to the horizon below him. Even though the plane had a rear cabin where he liked to slumber on long-haul flights, like this one from Beirut, he often complained about that ever-present foe, jet lag. "There is no medicine, there is no trick. I've tried everything. Nothing works," he once confided about the strain of constantly crisscrossing the world's time zones. The first day, no matter what, there is a moment where you are not very clear. Indeed, red-eye and all, this trip to Japan started like any other for Ghosn, then still the storied and sterling chairman of the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi automotive empire known as the Alliance. It was a journey Ghosn had made countless times before in the 19 years since he first landed in Japan back in 1999 to revive a then near-bankrupt Nissan Motor Company that had become a national embarrassment to the Asian economic power. Platinum Prestige frequent flyer miles.